Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, back on Personal Pension Radio. Thank you for joining me for episode 146. I really appreciate you being here. It is the holiday season. Christmas is coming. New Year's is coming. The cold weather is finally here in Southern California, so I am definitely excited about that. So as you heard, I am the income engineer. That's me, Kraig Strom, Kraig with a K. Remember, if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do that is just send me a quick email or catch me on LinkedIn at Kraig Strom or Kraig at kraigstrom.com for my email. That's Kraig with a K at kraigstrom.com. All right. I am the income engineer, and my goal, my plan, my hope for you is that you will pick up some insights, some motivation, some inspiration to go after that retirement dream that Wall Street has been promising you. However, they're not delivering the complete package. They're not delivering the maximum retirement income side of that retirement dream that they keep marketing and advertising to us. So I want to help you pull back the curtain on mainstream financial advice so that you can start asking the questions that are right for you. So you can start asking, hey, how am I going to maintain my post or my pre-retirement income when I get to retirement? How am I going to maintain my lifestyle? How am I going to actually take the nest egg that I have and turn it into maximum retirement income? And today, like it has been for decades, the Wall Street answer is save more money and then take out a really small percentage of that money when you retire. And it's usually an extremely disappointing conversation. I'm here to tell you that with a plan, with a retirement income plan, you can actually go after substantially more income than the typical Wall Street Monte Carlo 4% withdrawal type of retirement. You just actually have to have a retirement income plan, and that's my passion. I want to deliver that retirement dream. I want to turn the light back on at the end of that retirement tunnel and let you know that there is hope for it. You just have to be willing to step out of line, to fight that conventional wisdom about retirement planning. And you've got to step out of line and break with the herd, break with that conventional wisdom. Because thanks to the death of private pensions, the devaluation of Social Security benefits, and other just undeniable factors like inflation and increased taxes, America is absolutely in a retirement income crisis. This show, my goal, is focused on helping you pack your bags correctly for both halves of the retirement journey. Remember, there is the accumulation journey up the mountain, and then the distribution journey has a completely different set of economics that you've got to deal with, you've got to know about. And I want to help you build and protect your wealth, your lifestyle today and generationally, without sacrificing lifestyle, without sacrificing retirement lifestyle especially. Now, quick disclosure, I am not an attorney. I am not a certified public accountant. I am a certified financial planner professional. All that great stuff said, please don't act on advice that you hear on this show, and especially don't act on advice that you hear from financial entertainers or radio shows or podcasts. Meet with a qualified financial planner to go through your specific situation. And selfishly, I want that planner to be me. I have met with a number of listeners over the years through go-to meetings. Remember, the world is a very small place nowadays thanks to technology. So meet with a qualified financial planner before you take action on something that you might hear on this show or any other show for that matter, because yours is a unique situation. You've really got to have somebody go through that situation with you. Now, let's jump right in. I want to get back into things. I will take this out of order a little bit because I just want to make sure that I normally do my Deal of the Week segment here that I've been doing and I'm going to keep doing on a regular basis. But I want to actually just share the reason that I missed the podcast episode in the previous week is that we had sad news. Just sad news that my mother-in-law, my wife's mom, she passed away suddenly on the morning that I would be normally recording this podcast. We've got that very difficult phone call that we needed to head out to the family house in a city just not far from here. So my mother-in-law passed away. Now, she wasn't well, but we weren't expecting it that just suddenly like that. And this segment is normally just watch your step, around financial items, but it's also a pretty stark reminder to have conversations with your family now. Even though it might be difficult to talk to your feuding brother or the challenges you might be having with your mom or dad or your sister or, whatever it might be, have those conversations. Say those things that you've been holding off. Hug your kids. Do something nice. It's just a reminder, especially during this time of year, say those things. Do those things. Take the extra step. Maybe you be the first to make the next move or the first move. Just a thought. Now, for the record, she passed peacefully. And the family all got to see her, and everybody was on great terms, and all was very well. But it's just an excellent reminder here at this time of year, as you get family together, now is the time to really soak in those memories. Put down that iPhone or that Android phone, get off Facebook, get off Twitter, and really soak in those memories and the time that you have with family. Just a thought from me to you, and let me move on with the show. I don't want to bring it all down, but I think it's just a good time of year to be thinking, some of those things. Now, my bonus segment is Deal of the Week, and I want to, as you go through Christmas and you're looking for cool little gifty ideas, I was thinking about this recently with, every year at this time of year, I miss my dad. My dad has been gone for a long time now, and I miss him. My dad was always the Radio Shack dad at Christmas time. The Radio Shack dad is someone who always went to Radio Shack to get that little remote control car or that cool new little, made in China, whatever, whiz-bang electronic thing it was, or a little handy game. He was a Radio Shack dad. And of course, Radio Shack is all but gone nowadays. And I was looking at wish.com not long ago, and it made me think of my dad. Wish.com, if you don't know about it, is a place that sells largely manufactured in China, Bangladesh, all the various different foreign manufactured items, and so many little quirky things. Just an unlimited amount of quirky gift ideas at wish.com, mostly made in factories overseas. And some of the stuff that they sell is, obviously looks like knockoffs of name brand items, but it's really the low cost little fun things that you might have found at Radio Shack back in the day. There's just tons and tons of great deals at wish.com. Now, keep in mind, Wish.com might not get here in time for Christmas because sometimes the shipping takes a long time, but Wish.com is just a fun place to find that Radio Shack toy idea, that really inexpensive little remote control car, so you're not spending full retail for an expensive remote control car for your son or daughter who's going to then break it, right after you get it, and you really wish you hadn't paid retail for their first remote control car. There's just thousands of different things at wish.com. It's kind of a fun place. You can get lost in there, seeing all the different things. Now, that connects to the second website that more from a business perspective that I want you to be aware of, and that's, if you haven't already seen it, it's Alibaba.com. Alibaba.com is a website very much like eBay for manufacturers. It's a dating site for manufacturers to sell their products directly to you, the consumer. So as a business person, and don't keep in mind, it doesn't have to be just for business. Not all of the companies on Alibaba.com sell only 5,000 items, but Alibaba.com is a place where manufacturers from around the world, mostly outside the United States, but from around the world, they sell their product direct to purchasers. So Alibaba.com came up recently when I was talking to a friend of mine. He had purchased a whole bunch of marketing swag, like those cool little pens and stuff with your name on it and your company web address and that kind of stuff. And he had spent a good deal of money on the purchase here in the U.S., actually in Los Angeles. He spent a lot. And I couldn't help myself. I want to do the right thing. I want to help him because he's talking about buying more of this swag. I said, hey, have you heard about Alibaba.com? And he said, what? I said, Alibaba.com, where you could actually contact the manufacturer of these items that you've been buying. You can actually go directly to the manufacturer and order them in large quantities at sometimes half the price of retail in Los Angeles. He was blown away. He had no idea that Alibaba even existed, let alone that he could go direct to the manufacturer. Because at his quantities, what he was buying, he could easily buy a minimum order from a manufacturer. And guess what? You can email them your logo and the information you want printed on your pens and various different, swag items and stickers and frisbees and things like that. And the manufacturer will send you samples. They will ship you samples, and if you like it, you can order 5,000 of them at a fraction of the retail cost. Now, Alibaba also sells other things, in smaller quantities, more direct to the public type items. So you don't always find minimum order 5,000 at Alibaba.com. So take a look at both of those, Wish.com and Alibaba, especially if you're in business buying promotional items and many other things. Alibaba has just anything you can think that is manufactured. It is probably there, available for sale on Alibaba.com. Wish.com is a ton of fun. Again, thinking of my dad, it's all those little Radio Shack items that you might find on Wish.com. Enjoy. Now, let me jump into segment 2. These are questions that come in for me and just observations that I might have, but I actually had a great question that came in from a client of mine who asked me for suggestions on how he could introduce me to one of his family members. He said that he's not great at giving recommendations of any kind, whether it's a plumber or a financial planner. And he asked, how do I introduce you? So that is an awesome question. I actually get that question often. So let's start with a review of some of the key areas that I can help friends and family with. Number one, the first thing that I put on my list here is, of course, retirement income planning. You talk to folks and you ask them, what is your retirement income plan? And they look at you like, what are you talking about? A retirement income plan? I have a 401k. I save money for retirement. Do you have a plan for income? Well, they don't know what you're talking about because most financial planners and retirement conversations, remember the answer to retirement planning is save more money, save more money. There's no retirement income plan. So I specialize in designing, and coordinating retirement income plans, both pre-retirement and post-retirement. I'll help people who have already retired find ways to put their life together so that they can increase their income. Okay, so retirement income planning is a big area. I also help people with IRAs, individual retirement accounts. Sometimes they will leave a job, and you hear a friend who has left a job where they had a 401k, and you say, hey, Bill, who's going to help you with your 401k rollover? Well, those are the kind of things that I could help with. I'm helping someone, two friends of mine right now, actually, that I asked the question, hey, what are you going to do with your 401k now that you moved jobs? Oh, well, I guess I was going to roll it over. Well, I can help you with that. So helping a doctor roll over his retirement plan and helping an accountant roll over his 401k plan to an individual retirement account. I can also help with Roth IRAs, Roth IRA planning and rollovers and Roth IRA conversions. I can help in those areas. Love those conversations. I also do a lot of work in the area of investment account review. A great question to ask friends and family is, hey, when's the last time you had your investment account or your 401k reviewed? Well, most of the time it's never. What do you mean reviewed? When's the last time that you had it stress tested and really reviewed for fees and expenses? Well, never, most of the time. So I love those conversations where I get the opportunity to get in and dive into those investment accounts and really look at fees and efficiencies and the details of them. The area that you heard me mentioned earlier, 401k. I love the conversation and like having conversations about new 401ks, especially if you have a business owner friend and they have thought about setting up a 401k. You just ask them, hey, who'd you get your 401k with? Oh, I don't have one of those yet. I really think I should get one. Well, good. I know a guy who can help you, right? 401k is generally a conversation that a business owner would have. And if they have an existing plan, hey, when's the last time you had your 401k stress tested and benchmarked and reviewed? Well, never. Well, good. You know what? I know somebody who could help you with that. I also help people, and I'm very passionate about life insurance, both term life insurance and cash value life insurance. I'm extremely passionate about life insurance. I see all too often the economic life value is completely missed when it comes to life insurance. Like, hey, you just had a baby. Who helps you with your life insurance planning? Well, I don't have anybody. Well, let me introduce somebody to you, right? Hey, you just bought a house and you got a mortgage. Who helps you with your life insurance? I don't have anybody. Well, let me introduce you to somebody, right? That's how the conversation goes with life insurance. Disability insurance is an area that most people don't pay attention to, right? You think about your world. You're going to go Christmas shopping. You're going to go pay for your mortgage. You're going to pay for your car. You're going to pay for your groceries, go to dinner. What pays for all of those things? Your paycheck, right? Your paycheck covers all of those expenses. Do you have your paycheck insured? Most people don't. I am passionate as well about disability income insurance. If I am unable to make a paycheck anymore because I'm disabled, I have insurance that will guarantee me thousands of dollars a month that will come in to replace a big part of my paycheck. That's huge. Is your paycheck insured? That's a question. Do you have disability income insurance? What is that? It insures your paycheck. You know, the thing that you buy groceries with? Oh, yeah, I need that. Well, there's a great conversation about disability insurance. I also do a lot of work in the area of long-term care planning, right? So as people get older and grandmas and moms and dads get older, long-term care insurance is a big topic to bring up. This is a big one. Bring it up at the dinner table, at Christmas and holiday gatherings. Like, hey, what is your long-term care plan? Like, if you are unable to take care of yourself, is it going to fall on brothers and sisters and family members? Or do you actually have insurance for that? It's an awkward conversation to begin, perhaps, but you might find that your older family members are very comfortable with the topic of long-term care discussions because they've been thinking about it, right? Long-term care planning is a big deal. Ask your mom and dad, what's your plan, mom and dad? Because I'll tell you this, if mom and dad don't have a plan for long-term care, guess who's the plan? You are. You're the plan for long-term care. You're the one who's going to be there doing shifts every day, taking care of mom or taking care of dad, okay? So ask about long-term care planning and then say, hey, I know a guy, right? And you just introduce him to Kraig, right? Now, the first thing that many people think when they're thinking about making an introduction to someone is they might think to themselves, yeah, I'm sure they've got everything taken care of. And the answer is no, they probably don't. I mean, I have seen it many, many more times than most people. I've seen things like Ron's brother and business CEO. He's a business CEO. Had no planning whatsoever. Okay, so Ron is a client of mine. Ron's brother died suddenly, just absolutely out of the blue. He died, and turns out no living trust, no wills, nothing taken care of correctly. He has now left his two surviving brothers with a probate court nightmare. It'll take nearly 2 years or more to get his estate all settled out. Okay? Don't assume that your friends, your family members, your business associates, your coworkers, don't assume that they have everything taken care of. Do the right thing and ask a tough question. Hey, how's your living trust taken care of? Oh, I don't have one of those. I really need to get one. Well, I know a guy who can help, right? That's how you start the conversation. You've got to be bold. You've got to be brave. Be their hero. Really, be the hero that kind of opens the door to a conversation. Here's the answer to the question. How do you make an introduction to a great financial planner? Okay? Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Here's a great example. Just straight up. Say, hey, I've got a great financial planner. I think you'd benefit from meeting him. Can I make the connection? That's it. I've got a great financial planner, and I really think it'd be a great idea for you to get together with him. Let me make that connection. Or how about this? My financial planner showed me something about retirement income that I did not know, and I think you need to see this. You really could benefit from meeting him. Let me make the introduction. And here's another one, finally. Sure, I know a great guy who can help with your business life insurance. I'll do a text message introduction. That's actually one that recently came in, and that was it. It was someone had asked me, how do I introduce you? I said, hey, keep it simple, right? Because the conversation had come up with his friend who owns a business. He had asked the tough question. He's like, hey, who handles your life insurance for your partnership? You know, because you get two business partners together, you really got to have life insurance on each of the business partners, just in case one of them dies, that the other business partner doesn't end up working with the surviving spouse, right? So you get life insurance and you get an agreement in place. And he asked, this client of mine asked his friend, hey, who handles your business life insurance? And the guy said, I don't have that. I need to get that done. Well, hey, I know a great guy who can help with your business life insurance. I'll do a text message introduction to Kraig. Okay, that's it. Super simple. Be brave. Open the conversation. Things like, hey, you left your job here recently and changed jobs to a new job. Who's doing your 401k rollover? Oh, I need to talk to somebody about that. Well, good. I've got a guy, right? I got somebody who can do that. Hey, you're getting ready to retire 10 years from now. You're talking about retiring in 5 years. Who's handling your retirement income plan? Oh, I don't really have a retirement income plan. I really need to talk to somebody. Well, let me make an introduction to Kraig. That's the answer to the question. Thank you so much for asking there. I really do appreciate it. That question came in from Tim. Really appreciate the question about how do you make an introduction to Kraig, to a financial planner. Now, finally, This is a question that's kind of surprised me, but it said this came in, and it said the question was, or this is the email. I appreciated the story you shared about helping your daughter buy a car. Can you offer any suggestions on the car buying process? Well, if you listen to my show and if you know me, I have a car dealership license, and I'm pretty much a car guy, and I'm kind of passionate about it. So that's a loaded question. Can I offer any suggestions about the car buying process? Yes, I can. So having a car dealership license, and thank you for the question, by the way, having a car dealership license has been more of a hobby, still an expense, but I do have plans in 2018 to really ramp it up, actually, to be fully active on turning it into a positive in the black cash flow business, side business, but to actually turn it into a real cash flowing, positive cash flow business. I have learned a lot, which in business speak is I've made a ton of mistakes. Okay. So I've learned a lot as with a car dealership license. Number one, it's not just, a piece of cake and super easy. It has definitely been a learning curve. Okay. So let's just jump into a few things. Let's talk about buying cars, but one of the big items that people will use, they look at it like buying a car, is leasing a car. Let's be clear. Leasing a car is not buying a car. It is a generally very expensive rental contract for a car. And unless you are an expert in auto finance and leasing contracts, I suggest you be extremely careful in the area of leasing. If you're not an expert at negotiating a lease and you have a lease, you probably got screwed at least a little, okay? So leasing is just fraught with all kinds of nuances that most people miss, and the reason that leasing is so heavily advertised is that it's extremely profitable for the car dealerships and the car companies. And keep in mind, I am not a leasing expert, not by far. I would never lease a car myself because financially I've done the math. It doesn't add up because I'm not the type to buy a car every 2 to 3 years. If you are the type that you want a car every 2 to 3 years, you totally understand the expense. Maybe you're going to expense the lease through your business, and you fully understand how to negotiate. Yes, negotiate a lease, great. Definitely go for it. But really, you have got to become a student of leasing if you're going to be in the leasing a car, because it is really it's basically a lock for the car dealership and the car companies to make money. And it's because most people are ignorant about how to negotiate a lease. And by the way, don't ask me. I don't really know how to negotiate a lease myself. I just know that mathematically, it's not my thing. Okay. Now let's talk about buying a car. Okay. So buying a car, a few episodes back, I talked about this. If you can, finance the car rather than paying cash. So finance the car is almost always the best way to go. And before you say financing is wrong, remember you finance everything you buy, whether you pay cash or use credit. If you pay cash, you are the bank. You're the bank. You're the one who has to save up the money. You're the one who has to basically self-finance, save, buy the item, and then you're out of cash. You were the bank. You finance everything you buy, whether you pay cash or not. The reality is, people will say, whoa, wait a minute, if you get a loan, you've got the cost of interest, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, but if you pay cash, you've also got the lost opportunity cost of the cash sitting in the depreciating asset when you buy the car. The massive depreciation you experience after buying the car, there is more expense in that than there is in the cost of most low-cost interest financing today for vehicles. So I am a big proponent of using credit when you have good credit to use. Not if you've got 20% interest from some loan shark, but buy it on credit when possible. I recommend avoiding new car purchases due to depreciation. Unless you're buying a limited production hypercar like the one that was at my car show 2 weeks ago, it is unlikely that you will avoid losing thousands of dollars in the first year. But nearly new cars with a certified pre-owned warranty from new car stores is a great way to get a really great condition car with an excellent warranty. And when you go to a new car store in their used car shop and get a certified pre-owned warranty, you often get an excellent condition car at a very favorable financing rates. Now, used car dealerships, listen to this carefully. Used car dealerships, both franchises, those are like Ford and Hyundai and Kia, Toyota, and regular mom and pop dealerships in your local city, those used car dealerships get most of their cars from the dealer auctions. There are specific auctions that run every week all over the country, but they're only open to dealers. Now, in that subset, in that dealer auction world, there are auctions that are only open to franchise new car stores. So, for example, you've got Mazda. Mazda will have specific dealer auctions that only Mazda franchise dealerships are allowed to participate in. So those Mazda dealerships are able to get the cream of the crop used Mazdas. Or the Ford dealerships have a Ford only, where the Ford franchise companies are only allowed to bid on those cars first. The smaller non-franchise used car lots get most of their cars from the auctions as well. Remember, they're not allowed they don't have access in most cases to some of the really cream of the crop used car exclusive auctions that some of the franchises run. Okay? Now, this is a really important insight as well. Used car shops. Now, this is the same for big dealership used cars, but really more like used car mom and pop shops in your local town. Almost all of them operate on what's called a floor line. A floor line. The floor line is a credit account that these dealerships use to purchase inventory. They can hold a car. Now, basically, they got a loan to buy this car they're trying to sell on their lot. They generally will hold that car for up to 60 days without incurring a whole bunch of fees or having to pay the full purchase price of the vehicle. After that, the vehicle starts to cost large fees and they've got to actually pay for the car. Okay? So as a buyer, the floor line can be your friend. The floor line can be your friend. Dealers who have had a car too long will usually end up putting it back through the dealer auction if they cannot sell it. This costs auction fees and depreciation. So, stale floor line cars are often sold at close to and sometimes below wholesale to avoid going back to the auction. I had one recently where I'm shopping for a car still for my daughter, and we looked at a car locally. I looked at a car locally that was up for sale for $9,700. It was a good car. It just wasn't the right car. She couldn't get her head around, it looked a little too grandma-ish. And I understand. I'm not being pushy on it. And yet, while I was there with that used car dealer, he actually, knowing that he knew that I also have a car dealer license, he admitted this car had been on his lot too long, that it's on a floor line, and he's got to get rid of it. So he said that he would give it to me for $8,500. Now, keep in mind, he had it retail on his website for $9,700 and just offered me right? Offered me $1,200 off right there. And I know that that actually was pretty much right down at what he was going to try and sell it for at the auction. He was trying to avoid the auction fees. He was basically going to just break even on the car to get it off his floor line. And it just wasn't the right car for me and for my daughter at this time. But keep that in mind, that you've got to watch the amount of time that a vehicle stays on the lot. Be patient. Because if you can watch that vehicle just sit there and sit there and sit there, remember that dealership is running on a floor line. They have got to move that car off the credit line before they have to pay full price plus all the fees for that car. Okay. Now, next week, I'm going to go into specifics about things like warranties on cars, how to negotiate the price and figure out what price, financing on the cars, etc. We'll do that next week. And I hope this has been helpful. I'll make this a two-part section because, as you can imagine, I'm a car guy, so I've got a lot to say about it. Listen, keep the questions coming. I really appreciate all the questions that come in. Thank you so much for your continued support. Please don't forget to head over to iTunes. I would totally love it if you would add to my positive 5-star reviews over there on iTunes. Take a moment. Give me some feedback on that. Would really appreciate it. And send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com. Now is a great time to be thinking about your planning. Let's talk about your specific situation. And remember, we can do a go-to meeting. I had a gentleman just last week sent me an email, and we're set up for a go-to meeting coming up here soon. He lives out of town area from where I am. Remember, I love those kind of conversations. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast. If you missed anything during the show, that's okay. We took the notes for you. Check the show notes for links, offers, and a full transcript. And don't forget to head over to personalpensionradio.com and download your free retirement income report. While you are there, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening.
Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.